Hello, welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. Today we're going to make a recipe that I saw on TikTok. I will tag the creator below. Okay, so I'm starting with, this is called his wife's favorite salad, but there's a lot of roasted veg elements, and if you know me, you know I love roasted veg. Sorry for the beep. That was the oven. Okay, so I'm taking, he said 6, but I'm doing 7 because that's how many fit beautifully in my pot. These are little gold potatoes. And then it was equal parts vinegar and water. He said he likes white distilled, but he used apple cider. I don't have apple cider or white distilled, but I do have this fancy peach. So we're going to do that. And it's just equal parts. So I'm going to start with a cup of the vinegar and a cup of the water and see if it covers my potatoes. It wasn't quite enough, so I'm going to do another like half cup. But again, it just needs to be equal parts vinegar and water until your potatoes are covered enough that you can boil them. Okay, he also added a couple cloves of whole garlic, but I don't have any whole garlic because I blended all mine up and put it in the freezer. So I'm just going to boil it like this. I'm going to add a pinch of salt, and I'm going to boil these on medium-high heat for like 15-20 minutes until they're like fork tender. Once you get like the base piece off, the florets really come apart very easily, but you don't want too much of this like little teeny tiny. You want to keep the pieces somewhat intact. So I find peeling them apart is the most gentle method and leaving like the stems intact. Okay, and if you want it to be smaller, then I'll show you how to make them just a little bit smaller without breaking them up into like a gajillion little pieces, okay? Because I didn't show you, like, here's the core. So if you just like cut this side down and this side down and kind of get the core away, you can see better what you're working with. And you can eat the core piece. I'm not gonna eat it for this, but you could certainly chop it up small and roast it, and it's delicious. It's just like the rest of the cauliflower. It's just, sometimes it's a little bit dirtier or a little bit tougher, so you just have to chop it up small and roast it up, that's all. Once you have your cauliflower and all your bits, if it's too big, I just cut it through the stem like halfway, and then I pull that wasn't a good example at all. Let me try that again. I cut through the stem halfway, and then I pull them apart to try to keep the stems intact as much as you can, because that will help keep the cauliflower kind of like pulled together. So it's not so much of the little teeny tiny bit, although they get really crispy and I do like that. But it's also like hard to eat that way. So I'm just gonna chunk my cauliflower up into like bite-sized pieces for roasting. I took them out of the boiling water and the vinegar, and now I'm just going to give them a smash. He smashed them with his hands, but that's insane. They're burning hot. So I'm using the bottom of a mason jar. Isn't it so gorgeous? So I added to this some chopped up cabbage. So we've got our cauliflower we broke down, we got our chopped up cabbage, and now we have our potatoes that we've smashed flat. Everything needs seasoning before it goes in the oven. Preheat your oven to 425 or 450 because we're looking to get like crunchy, crispy goodness, okay? Make sure your parchment paper is okay up to those temperatures if you're using parchment paper. We're gonna do some olive oil across everything so we get nice brown crispy. And let's do salt. Good amount of salt, especially on potatoes. Potatoes definitely need it. And then pepper. The pepper grinder takes forever. I'll be back. And we're gonna do garlic powder. Just a little sprinkling over everything. I'm gonna do maybe a little extra because I didn't put the garlic in the potatoes. He did onion powder, so I'm gonna do onion powder, although you guys know it's not my favorite seasoning. But he did it, so I'm gonna do it. Then I'm going to leave the potatoes like they are probably, but I'm going to give everything a little toss just to get all the seasonings and the oil and everything mixed onto everything. I'm going to put just a dab more oil on each of my potatoes. They look a little dry. Okay, let's put this all in the oven, 425 for like 15-20 minutes just till it gets all crispy and delicious. He used a balsamic vinaigrette for his, but since I used the peach vinegar for my potatoes, I'm going to use the peach vinegar for my vinaigrette. So for my vinaigrette, I'm just going to put equal parts because that's how I like my vinaigrette. I like equal parts oil and vinegar. Some people like 2 parts oil to 1 part vinegar, or even 2 parts vinegar to 1 part oil. I like it to be just about equal. 1 part vinegar, 1 part oil. So I'm going to do, I don't know how much salad this is going to make, so I'll make a little extra vinaigrette. So I'm going to do like a 1/2 cup of vinegar, and then I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of oil. I'm going to need to go get some more oil. Hold on. So that's a 1/2 cup vinegar, a 1/2 cup oil, and then he grated some garlic, but you know, I have my frozen grated garlic. So you could grate a clove or 2 or garlic, or use the frozen garlic that we've made. I'm gonna do like, maybe like 2 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna do salt. I would say about a teaspoon, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then some ground pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of ground pepper. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. You can always taste it and see if it needs more salt or it needs more pepper. And then I'm going to do, because he did it, I'm going to do a little onion powder, although it's not my favorite. Ooh, and we need Dijon mustard to emulsify. Hold on. We're going to put a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. That's going to help emulsify and bring your vinaigrette together, is the mustard. I like to use my, whatever this thing is called, like for coffees, but you could just shake it up, stir it up really well. I just feel like this just helps kind of emulsify everything. So I'm going to blend this up and then I'm going to taste it. Okay, I think it's good, but I think balsamic is a little bit sweeter. So I'm going to add just a touch, like a teaspoon or so of honey. And then I'm gonna blend that up, and then we'll give it a taste. Prep the romaine for the base of the salad, but I was thinking about this. We could do everything we just did, and we could put this over, like mix it with beans and make a dense bean salad. Like you wouldn't have had to put this over like lettuce, but I'm going to chop up some romaine, and I'm gonna use some red butter lettuce as well. So there's my romaine all chopped up, and then I have some red butter lettuce that's just like washed and ready to go because I couldn't find any to chop up. So I'm going to put a little of that in there as well. Okay, I ended up doing about 20-25 minutes. Here's all the roasted veg. I wish the potatoes got crispier, but they didn't. But the cabbage is far gone, so it's time to pull it out. I think my bowl is too small. And I don't love putting hot things on cold lettuce, but I'm also starving and I want to get to eating, so we're doing it. I definitely feel like I need a bigger bowl, but here it goes. I'm going to put not all the dressing, but some of the dressing on and give it a toss. Okay, and I'm also going to put some Parmesan cheese. This is some freshly grated Parmesan cheese from like yesterday. So I'm put some of that on top and give that a toss. Okay, the most important part. It looks amazing. The tasting, right? We've got our roasted cabbage, our roasted potatoes, which kind of got all like crumbled up in here, and our roasted cauliflower. Oh yeah, that's good. I think the balsamic vinaigrette he made would have been even better, but this is definitely delicious. It was a lot of work. But it's good.